Energy Shock. But at least maybe that last match that you guys brought up about Fluffamers Perza Energy is beatable. But Blast Off Buds may have been beat, but they are a team to watch out for.
Frothy Philly 7, that's a name right there. I mean, I'm excited for that one. I mean, that's an awesome thing. We've seen so many, the open ecosystem's been awesome, right? We've seen so many like funny like team names, players,
Booger
whatnot.
Snot? I literally casted Booger Snot for like months, bro. This is nothing.
Yeah, this is awesome to see. Yeah, so we'll see how Blast Off Buds go. They end up they're the team that we sacrificed to Energy Shock early on, and Passage. I mean, that is zoomed in there on the Baptiste. That is a new Baptiste picture. But EXN Zenith, that'll be the opponent today.
Yeah.
A fun time. Blast Off Buds, they're a bunch of independent kings. And then EXN Zenith haven't showed too many compositions. They really love their diva, which, comfort picks are comfort picks in Overwatch. You can get away with anything. There's a ton of one-trick teams that'll teach you that, but there is limitations to the diva, and that's the weakness to EXN.
How are you guys feeling about this match? Do you guys feel like it's going to be a close one, or is it going to be a blowout?
It's going to be chaos. These are two teams that are extremely deathmatchy, that love their solo duels, and have less experience than a lot of the teams that we've had on broadcast. And the chat is pretty split on this too.
So EXN Zenith, they did take a map of the Fluffy Dreamland. And we saw Fluffy Dreamland end up beating NRG Shock. So you kind of take that into account. Maybe they're the favorites, but I also don't know what that map was, what the circumstances were. Right? I know a lot of different things could happen, but. With that type of context, and then also, siding with the people, right? I know the people obviously important. They're voting at home. It would be EX Zenith, probably the favorites.
All right. Well, I mean, Lemon said that it might be a chaos. It might be a very messy match, but I feel like it's going to be an interesting one. So, guys, take it away.
Awesome. Our last match of North America, and I would also give the edge to EXN Zenith because one player that stood out to me on VOD reviews was Putter. Putter Tracer, amazing at zoning off supports from the fight without overcommitting, very solid at the pulse bombs, and he's very pressure focused, a solid player, and I think gave a difficult time to their opponent yesterday.
Yeah, so like how I talked about where Zenith was able to win that map off of Fluffy Dreamlands, that was a new Queen Street that they end up winning 111 meters to 43. The other maps, not as close though. A 2-0 on Nepal, 2-1 on Kings Row, and then a 3-0 on New Junk City. So a push win there against Fluffy Dreamland, a big push win, right? I know winning by a large margin. So potentially, I know a map that we see them go to. For Blast Off Buds, their game against NRG Shock, they end up losing Kings Row 3-2, so a close game there. 3-1 on New Junk City, so potentially we are in for a close series. I would love if EX Zenith would play this at the start, but not gonna happen. So we'll get an idea of what both teams play a little bit closer, but Blast Off Buds look to be hovering over that Orisa.
And Ace loves his Pharah and brought it out yesterday and will always swap to Ashe as a backup plan. I think that would be a strong option for Lijiang Tower, at least on Gardens with how open the skies are, and he does just that. Fidel, like I said, the diva player that sticks to diva even outside of Control, but this is a very strong tank choice for Control due to how small it is.
Yeah, we'll see if you can kind of play this diva, go toe-to-toe against the Orisa on the other side. That'll be a huge test here for Fidel and EX Zenith as see the Orisa just get right into Fidel's base. Spear spin, just knock him right off course.
And I think Lava was the one who played yesterday for Blast Off Buds, so now they're using their other tank here of Baz, who's probably their more comfortable Orisa option. And for now, it's definitely a tone setter. Good pressure from Putter. He's full sending it on this Cassidy and pulls back right at the perfect moment before maybe any suppression comes out of Emerin. EXN Zenith didn't necessarily get kills though. It was a lot of space creation, and as they head back to the point, they turn their backs to Blast Off Buds, who do exactly that, just blast them in the back. That one kill is enough for Blast Off Buds to get the point, but how does Ace already have a barrage?
It's a barrage through the window, like through the upper part of the window. This is Redex using the orbital ray as well. So a lot committed here now for Blast Off Buds to try and hold on to the point.
There's just so much damage at the beginning of this fight with no actual kills happening, so no surprise that these Junos got the orbital rays going. But I'm still looking towards Putter to be that standout tracer. To have a masterful tracer like that on control is very important. So Blast Off Buds did get an early surprise with the double barrage there from Baez, but for now, Blast Off have to defend.
Yeah, they still end up holding on to the point, so a nice job here for Blast Off Buds early on, as they've done a nice job also peeling for Emmerich on the Cassidy, so being able to keep the Cassidy alive, really important here for Blast Off Buds, been able to do so thus far, as Kitsune Rush, Panzer not able to get the Suzu off, so gonna fall straight away.
And apologies, that was Ace's barrage, but Baez has his own, and he just is on his perch in the window and just gets the free poke at EXN who are running in. So Blast Off Buds have been really good at taking so many angles and surrounding the perimeter of the point, poking and prodding, and eventually isolating EXN, netting in some important kills, and Baz will force a teleport out of Passenger as he heads back to the point. One last fight for Gardens.
Yeah, it's been all Blast Off Buds thus far. I think the reset definitely kind of plays into that. The defense matrix used there early on, and that is a conk from Ace Killer. Off the side there goes Baz. Is really for EX Zenith, a lot of the positive things have definitely been from Ace Killer. You think about Ace with the barrage early on, this time getting that conk that knocks him off, that flips the point.
Baez got killed, and still waiting to see that barrage if he can approach. Now this is the advantageous position for Ace to just get them low. Any direct rockets could be dangerous, so Blast Off Buzz, obviously you don't want to fight bridge with any potential of getting booped off, but it's not going to be easy for Blast Off Buzz to also get into White Room. Seems like EXN were trying to suppress them already before getting there. Now Vai's getting into a barrage position, maybe at the window. No follows through behind the team. EXN aren't going to play within the point, and Vai's now it's a lot more dangerous to go into open area trying to barrage. But with the orbital rays exchange, there's a barrage moment for Vai's and Ace, both surviving, only one getting a kill, and all the bombs are being thrown from EXN's half to claw their way back to any semblance of control on this map.
Yeah, Zenith has to use just about everything here at the end, as they do end up giving the point back to Blast Off Buds. Blast Off Buds push in, end up taking the points, and don't get a lot of progress there, so still a long way to go as the Blast Off Buds will play a Ramatra here. Let's see if they actually stay on it. So it looks like they will play a Ramatra just to put even more kind of stability on the point, right? Ramatra can just get in there, use that Nemesis form, very sturdy, difficult to deal with. Also provides a little bit of some long range damage.
Yeah, dangerous to go across the bridge with a Pharaoh with Concuss. The Deadeye is going in reverse, which is not good. With the Matrix dwindling away for Fidel, it does cause some zoning. EXN disengaging at different areas. Blast Off take Dojo, or at least they're trying to fight for it. Putter gets to the back, almost lands that pulse all onto the Brigida, and EXN are happy to let Blast Off Buds walk in as EXN just hunt for their chance to get at these supports. It's a good start for Putter. You only have Narwhal as support with the orbital ray from Redex. Blast Off Buds have more than enough damage to deal with the problem.
Yeah, you end up losing your Kiri early on there for Zenith. You also end up losing your Diva there as well, so you lose both those players. Orbital Ray, very difficult to fight in general, and then now you're fighting it at a huge disadvantage. So Blast Off Buds, they take our first round in what was a very chaotic back and forth round.
Very chaotic, and it came off of Emerin and friends trying to walk down the bridge, which one lucky concussive blast from Ace, and that would have just been the end of the map. Then the Deadeye caused some zoning, Blast Off were able to get some footing, and then a big orbital ray is all said and done, but Control is quite the scrap, and we said this was going to be pretty deathmatchy, and it's delivering on that front. I believe we're on night market, so we'll see if the Symmetra sticks. This is like the one control point you would do it, but based on the teleport being posed at the beginning, not so much.
Yeah, we'll see Sim TP from both sides. Just give it a little bit of extra length here, getting closer towards the point. It's Ace takes up a big shot there from Emerin, so it's a fall back down, able to get healed up there, and then now work their way back towards that point. It's just, can you keep this Diva alive? Diva not great at just kind of holding serve in one spot on the map. Wants to be kind of, flying, moving, using the abilities to kind of access backline with somebody else. Just kind of sitting on the point, not ideal.
And that's why we said Orisa is so meta. She is so tanky, and she specializes in holding space. But Fidel is not going to be playing a 1v1 or in a vacuum playing front to back against the tank. Fidel is going to run around like basically a Giga Chad Tracer to get towards these DPS. And Fidel does a great job of getting that initial kill onto Emran. And that's enough for EXN to tip the scales in their favor, maybe giving up 25% to Blast Off Buds. And you got Ace playing on the point, which is very deadly for Blast Off to be anywhere close to.
Yeah, I mean, that's the way you want to play it, right? If you are playing the D.Va, you want to have the D.Va go to the backline, make a play for, Emran or support, and then double back to the point with the rest of the team, right? That's kind of how you want to play this here for Zenith, as they're getting closer towards taking the lead here. Now they get there far in a great position, right, to be able to just kind of put some damage down as everybody leaves coming out the choke, as that's going to be the barrage. It just gets one. So Narwhal also ends up using the orbital ray, and you end up falling here. So this could be a huge opportunity for Blast Off Buds.
Yeah, 3v4 in favor of Blast Off Buds. I don't mind the barrage in to just take care of Frothy. You eliminate the rally potential and less support. Orbital Ray was probably not even necessary. Saw Fidel around the corner, thought that there was more smoke than they were expecting. But for now, it's the Kitsune Rush re-engage for EXN. Now the lead about to be taken by Blast Off Buds, who activate the rally to protect themselves with a huge shield against the, well, all the poke coming out of Ace from the sides.
Yeah, so they don't even end up taking the lead here from the Blast Off Buds, so they'll still hold on to this here in Zenith, as look at Vice just trying to put some damage down, maybe on a scared punter from coming back towards the point. Now just on a really interesting angle there towards the side. So this will be harder to move into the Ramatra and the Brig. It's going to be Emran actually using the Deadeye, pushing up quite aggressively.
Oh, that Tracer push was scary for Putter. Recalled right before the trigger was pulled, gets the last laugh against Vaiz and denies the barrage. Point taken back by EXN with Fidel back in max. So seems like the stars are aligned for EXN now to get a good push going, especially with Ace. Barrage overhead on this Ramatra. Wants to end it once and for all, but so tanky now that the Annihilation got popped. Vaiz pops his own barrage at range, and paired with the Annihilation, that was too much for EXN to handle.
Yeah, the Annihilation, just obviously the damage that comes down with it, but just to get more used to the Nemesis form, right? So it just keeps Buzz so top up, able to just put down enough damage. Just I mean, it's damage that it's just unavoidable, right? Can't exactly run from it. Allows Blast Off Buds to flip the point back, an opportunity to take map number 1 right here.
A few more seconds away. Blast Off Buds holding it down. Orbital Ray at the ready for Redux and taking initiative to get past this Fidel D.Va and get everyone else behind. And Baz is successful with eliminating Narwhal, but Passenger, if he's allowed to live, this Kitsune Rush could tilt the scales for EXN, as Fidel wants to keep overtime wick burning. No control for EXN though. Kitsune Rush is popped by Passenger, but EXN have no space to operate, and Fidel is running his head into a wall, a brick wall. That is the Blast Off Buds defense, not allowing EXN to get any type of footing or comfortability whatsoever. And this orbital ray from Narwhal sort of helped, but then the numbers were chalked to begin with. EXN were pushing 2 against 5. So that map ends easily in the favor of Blast Off Buds.
Yes, when the Kitsune Rush comes down, the Blast Off Buds, they have the rally to be able to just kind of fight inside of that. And Fidel is so low on the D.Va, can't exactly push into a rally, plus the Ramatra there. Very difficult to kind of fight that Ramatra with the D.Va in that type of scenario. And the Blast Off Buds take advantage. Take map number 1, I would say pretty convincingly.
Yeah, it got scrappy at the beginning, but eventually holding it down on the point was the way to go, and we saw the limitations of that D.Va, decent enough at taking space until there's a Ramatra T-posing at the front door, and you quite literally can't get past him with just the less mobility pushback that tanks take. So limitations of D.Va there, but at least with EXN having map choice, they can go to potentially a D.Va friendlier map.
The barrage here, so like it looks like his character's almost like clipping the top of the window, like maybe even a chance to blow himself up there. But I'd help with the defense matrix there from Fidelia. Also for EXN Zenith, you're also playing without a brig for a lot of this round one, right? Where we've seen the rally when the Kitsune rush come down be very difficult to deal with and play inside.
It was a lot of, like I said, there's a lot of duels that happen in different locations, so it can really be about the impact of these DPS. So I'm glad you brought up sort of the fair battle between Ace and Vice and the timings and the choices they made around the barrages and what sacrifices they wanted to make. Like trying to deal with the Ramacho here, then all of a sudden two ults pop right back at you, or if you int to deal with Frothy, at least you deny the rally. So it was all about sacrifices with these Pharaohs.
Yeah, his the Forest just kind of like playing at range, putting down some crazy damage. I mean, also we saw a lot of like barrage kills, which we haven't seen like a ton, really like at all. It's been more like a kind of like a suicide ultimate at times. Take a look at some of the stats. Quite interesting though that EX Zenith, with a pretty heavy lead in terms of damage, less deaths, but end up falling and losing the map, right?
That's why it's hard to judge stats, because it's about the impact of the kills and are you finishing off the damage? Are you finishing off the characters that you do get low? And when EXN Zenith, I said that they can have these split pushes, and that can result in not a lot of different focal points within the fight, which can really harm, obviously, your way of finishing off those kills. So good chemistry so far from Blast Off Buds, off of a control map that can be really crazy.
Yeah, if you're EX Zenith and you want to play some more D.Va or like dive-centric tanks in general, like you're looking at Watchpoint Gibraltar, any map that kind of has that verticality where you're forced to have a tank like that. So we'll see where they decide to go. I would assume it's something along those lines. I wouldn't exactly pick a map that's great for a rush if you want to kind of commit to be playing that D.Va. So I think like a Gibraltar potentially makes sense. You could see them even play like a Junkertown if you want to play D.Va. D.Va's pretty good there. So
oh yeah, we
a few
saw
different
that.
options. Yeah, a few different options. It seems like we do need a little bit of a minute though to get the teams ready for map number 2. So we're gonna go to a quick break and we'll come right back with that map. Welcome back. Quick break. Like I promised, Blast Off Buds making a little bit of a change here, going into map number 2 against EX Zenith. It'll be Victory Ian coming in for Emmerich. So Emmerich, a lot of play on the Cassian Tracer there in map number 1. Changing things up here for map number 2, Lemon.
So many Canadians on this roster. You love to see it. Trying to cosplay a Toronto Defiant, I guess, or budget Toronto Defiant. I don't know however you want to look at it, but Victory, strong hit scan coming in for Blast Off Buds. They've locked in, or EXN have locked in their map choice of New Queen Street, which we wanted to talk more about their map choices because yesterday they took the fluffy aimers to King's Row and realizing, yes, King's Row is short range, but playing King's Row forces you to play front to back, which is why Brawl is so strong, and that's something that this diva cannot handle, and you start to see those limitations. But New Queen Street, so many different angles of attack, high and low grounds, and lots of places to flank from.
Yes, we'll see kind of what these teams decide to play on New Queen Street. This is like one of the push maps we actually see teams don't really select. We see a lot of like Runasapi, we even see Coliseo. We do not really see a ton of New Queen Street. So
the Canadians, they're just like locking in.
Yeah, right.
Well, the one Canadian non-passenger, but
yeah, hometown buff for one player. His passenger or Canadian here forces them to play New Queen Street all the time. No, but so they'll play Diva here. Diva can obviously access some of the high ground here on New Queen Street. I don't think the high ground here is like as impactful as some of the other maps though.
Just depends if you can get Blast Off Buds like in the middle of the map, pushing the bot, and then find your way around. You have Putter on the Tracer, who's been a superstar, and Ace, though, not a lot of cover to dance around. The hockey statue is nice, but it's not as tall as you would hope, so Ace has to play a lot further back, awarding some space to Blast Off Buds, but as a result, Baz may have just pushed his luck too much, got down so low, and you don't have as quick enough heals with just Redux and Frothy on Juno and Briggs, so Blast Off Buds definitely bit more off than they could chew.
Yeah, this is pretty good start here for EX Zenith. So they get right over to the other side of the map, right in front of the Blast Off Buds, and they take control with a lot of damage coming down from Ace yet again. So Blast Off Buds will now play a Diva of their own. They'll also swap in Victory to play an Ashe. So some long range hit scan, putting a little bit more pressure on this Pharah.
This is why you bring a Victory in. You trust this hit scan to get Blast Off Buds blasting off in the series in a good way, not in Team Rocket style, but EXN can't really maneuver around the map as freely, and Fidel still has to play with Passenger at the very least, while Narwhal may have to be stuck babysitting Ace, but a lot of angles of attack available for EXN, but coordinating focus fire is what we needed to see from them after the previous map, having way more damage but not as many kills. 1-for-1 barrage with Fidel barely on their feet, heading towards just their own side with some good progress from EXN so far.
The Juno can just put down so much healing, being able to kind of get Fidel back up to full HP, but it is EX Zenith forced, Narwhal specifically, forced to use that orbital ray really early, and then Blast Up as a backup. Now they come back in and get a good use of theirs as they're getting closer to taking the lead.
Oh my god, off the wall too. Narwhal skated away from the wall instead of maybe in the hallway, which in the heat of the moment, it's a tough decision to make. Now bomb for Fidel back into the mech. Kitsune rush as EXN continue to just run it down. Again, this is gonna be about ignoring the enemy tank. Now Baz is matching the Diva, which is interesting. Ignoring the other tank, and for Fidel and friends to surround and conquer.
Yes, Blast Off Buds gets very close to getting that first checkpoint, but don't exactly get it over the line. They'll lose a few players here towards the end, but if you're Blast Off Buds, take a fight, up close, right? Don't be scared in that kind of neutral, because you have that rally. I mean, the rally is going to be so strong, really difficult for Zenith to deal with.
And the best peel tank you can choose is Diva. Of course, if you wanted just a solid anchor, Orisa works, but Diva's a bit more mobile. So trying to keep up with her when she goes to the high ground, it's best to match fire with fire. So I don't mind the Diva choice there from Baz, but Fidel, I don't know if I want to say one trick, but they really like their diva comps, so this is going to be a tough
really
challenge.
like playing it. Yeah, no, and then you get a D-mech here, right? So that's quite brutal. Like, Zenith not able to take the lead. Fidel now gonna have to build up towards that mech, and you see nobody giving any type of way to give Fidel some extra damage to try and build up back towards that mech. They try and keep him alive. They're not able to do so. So this is pretty bad for Zenith, right? Because now you're gonna lose all these players. You're gonna give up checkpoint here as well. Blast Off Buds, they end up using their Orbital Ray, so I guess that's a glimmer of hope here for Zenith. Ace will now play a Ashe of their own. So instead of playing the Fars looks really good for EX Zenith. You're gonna see them actually match that hit scan.
Yeah, just Farah's no fun on push maps. The objective is going back and forth, and Farah's more mobile than she used to be, but the further Blast Off Buds were playing, the harder it was for Ace to be impactful, so matching that on the Ashe is big. You got two pulse bombs being thrown around. Putter is not even done. He's out for blood. 3K for Putter, putting the team on his back, and that single-handedly will give EXN the fight.
Yeah, I mean, Blast Off Bud's battling back, right? You see, I'm gonna have a self-destruct here where Baz is gonna give a mech back, and then you're also having Vice still alive, so you do have the close spawns as well with the checkpoint.
I just can't believe, like, Putter kills 3, and this is still a close fight. Like, what more can the guy do? And he has another Tracer to worry about, but if this diva from Baz sticks closer to his teammates, it's gonna be tough for Putter to do anything, because the diva is the most annoying character to face if you're a Tracer.
Where you lost Narwhal and you lost Putter, so you have to back up a little bit here at your Zenith, so you're going to give you more space here to Blast Off Buds. Oh, that's like, the defense matrix is there from Fidel, but just a little bit off to the side is, oh, that is really bad here for EX Zenith. Both supports go down.
Victory, it's in the name. They're heading towards that full cap territory. Lots of time left, but this victory, guys, single-handedly forced Ace off of the Pharah, and it has Putter's full attention. Can they even get into victory space, though? He just threw out a bomb. That's another obstacle in EXN's way, and EXN don't really have the ults to do anything about it. They don't have their Bob yet. Fidel uses self-destruct just to return to spawn, and this is cooked for EXN.
Yeah, this is looking a little chalked here for EX Zenith, as they're gonna have to try and maybe have Putter make it back here. You do have some players coming back off a spawn as Passenger over to the brig here, trying to fight this close quarter, and you do have a last-second Bob here.
Okay, well, Blast Off Buds really want that full cap, and even with the respawn advantage, Blast Off Buds do not care. The Bob from Ace was a good enough stall, but then as soon as it felt like the nuclear strike from Redux came down, it was chalked. You can't even stay on the card if you're EXN Zenith, but the respawns will eventually favor them in this extended duel, so EXN have a long way to go, though.
Yeah, I mean, a long way to go is an understatement, right? I mean, you gotta get checkpoint, you gotta fight up, towards high ground. Really difficult scenario here for EX Zenith, and it's got to sting a little bit as well, because like the other team now is just kind of playing you in kind of the competition that you would have wanted to play, right, with a diva in the mix, and then they're still getting better. So Frothy will take out Passenger with some help of Redux over on the side, where you've been losing the supports really early on here for Zenith the last few fights in a row.
Yeah, where is Fidel in this equation? Asleep at the wheel? How is your brig Passenger in a brig duel, or actually not even a brig duel, he's in a 1v2 against Redux and Frothy. The whole point of Diva is to just be a strong backline defender, and if you have time to push, you do, but Fidel gets lost in the sauce, and I don't blame him. Diva's one of the most hardest tanks to play based on just how many roles and how many objectives you have to do at once, and EXN, they have to defend against a full cap potential with, well, this nuclear strike now coming down from Narwhal, and then the rally. This is pretty GG. Blast Off Buds won't be capping, but EXN still are gonna flounder away.
Yeah, it's brutal though to have to use both of your support also to make it out of your spawn door, especially when you're down by this much. You're gonna get back to like probably about mid-map, probably even a little bit less, and then now have to fight Blast Off Buds, who are actually going to match the Mei. So the only difference is Victory's still playing that hit scan, where Potter just going to continue to play that Tracer.
Long way to go. EXN need to win multiple fights, not just the one out of spawn. and it's been tough to get any speed going with Blast Off Buds matching them toe for toe, with their supports getting at Passenger and Narwhal even, and Fidel really starting to feel the pressure of his role as a tank to protect everybody, because Blast Off Buds are simply overwhelming, and Putter and Ace are getting more and more muted.
Yes, it's going to be a bomb from Victory around the corner. It's actually going to like trap a few of these players, so you're going to lose Fidel's mech. Going to have to use a self-destruct to try and get back in it. Now, even with a remake here, still it is not looking good here for EX Zenith. Now this is the time where Blast Off Buds can put it away.
No touch. Ooh, so it's like, yeah, you're like, I don't care about this diva meching because we're literally 1 meter away, so.
Yeah, and I think also you had both support ults there for Blast Off Buds. It would not have been a good fight there towards the end. It would have been kind of what you saw anyway, just with a lot more death.
That was a lot of death, and that was also EXN's choice of map. And that's a tough one, because they really wanted to go to a diva map. They did that, and they were not expecting to just face another diva. So here comes Baz putting them in their place.
Lucky for EX Zenith, they get to pick another diva map. That's but that one
absolute cinema.
Yeah, that one doesn't really work out there. As new Queen Street goes the way of the Blast Off Buds. It started off pretty good here. For EX Zenith, they get off to a good start, but once there were some comp changes from Blast Off Buds, I mean, it was not close.
Yeah, first Baz gets off the Ramatra, tired of the Spara business. Victory goes to the Ashe to have a more impactful shot against Ace. I think that forces Ace off Pharah. I don't know. I didn't even notice the Ace Pharahs. More and more, the DPS from the blue side had less and less to say back. And this was a Putter Tracer I've been hyping up. There was one fight where Putter literally killed most of the team. Like 3 kills, and they still lost the fight. This is a team that doesn't come together, and they can't just rely on Putter go kill.
Yeah, no, it's a little bit of a shame, right? Because Putter did have some good moments on the Tracer, but you just weren't able to put any type of like coordinated push or anything with the rest of the team together. So that's where everything kind of falls apart. You lose, Pastor and Narwhal a few fights in a row there towards the end. Makes it very difficult. Yeah, I mean, Rally plus the Orbital Ray, I mean, that would have been a blowout there towards the end. So the stats show it to be a bit closer than what it felt like, actually. So, the Blast Off Buds, obviously, you do win the map. They kind of dominate in all the stats across the board. But it was a blowout in terms of, like, the meterage.
Yeah, Blast Off Buds were good at drawing out EXN, but also playing as far apart as they could so that Victory could just throw pot shots towards Ace's Pharah, which eventually got him to swap. But then as soon as EXN started to approach and scrap more, they were able to access EXN's backline. Passenger and Narwhal were in trouble a lot in these early fights, and with a diva comp, you just can't afford that to happen.
Yeah, and especially like when you're trying to force the diva comp, you feel like you have to have answers while playing that comp to the different things you potentially could see. And even one of those, obviously, like a mirror matchup, right? And to not be able to, when the other team is like going to play the mirror, like that's almost when you feel like you probably should be at your best, right? Like, okay, we're trying to play this diva. We end up forcing them in a situation where they have to play it, and then you don't win. That's quite brutal. So it'll be EX Zenith picking their map here, their last map selection of the day. It'll be King's Row.
This was a tough one to watch against Fluffy Aimers yesterday when it comes to EXN, who, again, play diva everywhere, including this map, which was what surprised me, because, well, Fidel is used to playing against everyone who just hardlocks Orisa or maybe Ramatra, and they're not as mobile as diva for the most part. So then Fidel just ignores them, heads towards the back, but King's Row is a very narrow map where you're forced to respect the other tank, and Fidel got checked, and they just could not advance past point B because of this comp choice, and they won't swap off of it, or at least they haven't yet. So to go back to this, they must have a plan on how to circumvent point B, because that's been a pain point for EXN.
Right, so we'll see if they can make any adjustments. They will keep Victory in the game here, for Blast Off Buzz, right? That's a substitution we saw after map number 1. Victory will stay in to play the hit scan, where this is a really strong hit scan map, but also, like, Baz can play this Orisa. The Orisa we know is really good against diva, so really difficult.
Maybe Putter will say hi to Frothy on the other side. But, oh my god, it's a Brig, who would have guessed? That's insane. And, well, Fidel and the Diva, he's sticking with it, do or die, and it is series point for Blast Off Buds. A lot on the line here, elimination, end of the season, and EXN are out the gates with the usual comp. They don't show many faces, but this is their best one.
Let's see how they make it work, though, right? Try it. It's going to be a lot of, Putter having to put pressure onto Victory, allowing Ace to kind of get through that choke rather easily, put down some damage onto the Ashe, and there you go. You do get that pick off on the Ashe early on.
Yeah, just expecting that Ashe is gonna play at the back of the point. You can just kind of pre-shoot it and layer it with rockets for if you're Ace. And Blast Off Buds are gonna hold it down in the hotel, but also contest, not allow a free take. And in a vacuum, Diva doesn't match up well against the Orisa. Orisa has a lot more mitigation, a lot just tankier overall. Fidel, eventually that Matrix will run out, and EXN surround and conquer that tank, and it needed to be a united effort with Fidel to deal with Baz.
Yeah, I mean, getting the Ashe off the high ground there early is massive, right? That's like the long-range hit scan that's going to put a lot of pressure on Ace, and that's going to be first checkpoint here for EX Zenith. So a good start for them, and they'll actually have Baz switching over and playing a Diva of their own. So they'll keep the Mei, and I think the Mei is pretty good here in the second part of the map, right? Really good opportunities for Ice Walls.
Now Fidel, just like in the last map, struggled between do I look at the other Diva or do I ignore it? And Baz forces you to pay attention to him because he's just gonna match boost with boost and is gonna poke away at Fidel to get his attention. Now pushing through a choke. This is where EXN suffered yesterday. It's tough to play front to back with the Diva. Maybe against another Diva, it'll be a different story. EXN did face an Orisa comp yesterday, but right now they're having issues getting through the choke.
Yeah, with this Mei, you can make it really painful to try and move through the choke. Orbital Ray from both sides here. So getting very close to this Blizzard here from Vice.
So far, so good. You got Blast Off to retreat to the back corner, and as soon as Ace tried to see what was up, headshot to the dome, and Victory, big impact, and even shoots up to avoid the pulse bomb from Putter. But now they've marked where Putter is, who doesn't have the recall and barely has blinks and is found. This is staggers that EXN can't afford. Well, I guess can't afford, but it's gonna sacrifice time.
It feels like they need a map completion, right? Just to give themselves a little bit of confidence, a little bit of breathing room there going into their defensive side. But look at this Victory going on a little bit of a flank here with the Bob.
What are we cooking?
Oh,
I've never seen a dive bomb Ashe. And she gets out?
How?
He's so serious.
You can't. I mean, that's a scenario where you have to capitalize. Like, how does Victory make it out? That's crazy.
That is goofy. Blast Off Buds really honing in on the name, and now you got Vice. Oh, it actually got eaten. See, Fidel did something very important reaction, especially when Vice just came out of nowhere with a Blizzard. You deny a big win condition, you got two more, a rally and a self-destruct. Baz will have a second life. He's trying to play conservative around the card so we can actually get back into that mech, and they stuff EXN right back to where they came from.
Yes, now Putter ends up playing a Mei as well, so trying to control a little bit more of the choke here. An opportunity for EX Zenith, but that's going to be like almost 2 minutes off the clock here. Zenith also with no ultimates really coming into this next fight. They'll have that orbital ray, really impactful, but you have an orbital ray on the other side of things, right? So you think it kind of negates itself.
All right, EXN, less than 3 minutes to go, but an orbital ray. Surely you could just blast off the blast off buttons from the choke, but they're not even gonna hold close. You can't do that as easily with the Diva. It's definitely gonna be a disengage, re-engage type of match, and Blast Off are ready to initiate off of their own orbital ray, and EXN used theirs too, but Blast Off just looked way more coordinated on their attack.
Yeah, you're gonna have a stagger here on Fidel as well, so gonna end up losing the Diva there towards the end. So waiting now off of the spawn as Ace is gonna play the Cassidy. So this is a comp that really wants to play close quarters. It's gonna have a little bit of advantage in terms of up close, right? With the Cassidy in the mix, but with this long sightline, you're gonna be able to land some big dynamite, some damage at range here for Victory. Continue the hot play.
Yeah, Maywall, it's hard to isolate anyone. They can jump over it, but the Blizzard is thrown. EXN getting some freezes, at least to disable the Bob for a second, but EXN thought they could play off of that Blizzard. The Bob still lives. And Blastoff are also playing around the Bob, so a lot of targets for EXN to shoot at, and focus fire has been a problem for them. Re-engage now for Blastoff Buds with the Blizzard and the Maywall to trap EXN in a very painful spot.
Yeah, when the Blizzard comes in from Putter and EX Zenith, they just throw the Bob in, so there's really not a lot of follow-up. They also don't catch the Diva in it. And this time when Blastoff Buds, you throw your Blizzard in, there's nothing on the other side. So EX Zenith just kind of get rolled over as Fidel now finally will move away from Diva over to Reese. So now it'll be on Baz a little bit harder to stay alive. But this has been a Blastoff Buds hold here. They dwindled so much time off the clock, like just about 4 minutes.
This is a good swap for Fidel. I can't believe I was here to witness it. All he has to do is anchor. This Diva from Baz won't stand a chance. I mean, EXN literally learned this lesson yesterday facing an Orisa team when Fidel played Diva. But for now, it's the damage numbers are not where EXN need it to be. They have space but don't utilize it, so Blastoff just keep completely team wiping them.
It's the rally. The rally comes in from Blastoff Buzz. They just run them down, and there's nothing that EX Zenith can do. So they know there's a Tracer behind. They know Putter is still lurking on the flank. Haven't exactly found him just yet.
It's going to be important. A tempo engage for Putter now that his team is here. He's going to start poking at Redex. If he could deny the orbital ray, that could be a huge win condition. He doesn't have a pulse bomb, but the Maywall trapping Blastoff, but no, there's a crack in it. Blastoff Buds escape. Orbital ray from Passenger is trying to guide them to victory, but there's no support and no chance for EXN that just get X'd out of this series. Blastoff Buds, they're so aggressive. It's a pain train. It's a bulldozer. And a last-ditch effort with a Blizzard with no one to take advantage. Man, Blastoff Buds end this at the same spot that EXN lost at yesterday. And will the past repeat itself?
Yeah, and what happens there in that final fight is Victory gets a really big dynamite just on about everybody for Zenith. And that Passenger and Narwhal both layer the support ult as they have the orbital ray and rally. They hit both of them at the same time. Blast of Buds just takes a few steps back. They wait it out, then Redex ends up using his orbital ray and they just come through and clean it up. I mean, nothing they could do to combat that at that point for Zenith. So feels like they're in a lot of trouble here, Lemon.
This is just not a strong push. It is at the same spot as yesterday when they faced fluffy aimers. Getting through the choke was at least one of the problems that they dealt with. It took a few rounds of ultimates, but EXN Zenith got at least halfway to B. And they tried to tempo with Putter, but there's something happening in the micro department where Viz and Victory are next level. It's a huge damage gap, I'm feeling like, when it's resulting in team wipes. It's not even like EXN are taking a few bodies with them. These are team wipes for Blastoff.
Yeah, absolutely, right? Where it feels like Blastoff Buds have had a distinct advantage in a lot of different areas here throughout the day. So see the Blastoff Buds here on offense, an opportunity to just close the series out 3-0 for solidifying a matchup with them and Shikigami, which should be a pretty good game. Actually, I believe this the winner of this, please, is it Energy Shock, I believe. This is going to be, yes, it's Energy Shock. So there'll be Victory taking Passenger out right away. I mean, that's a terrible start here for Zenith.
Which, imagine your next opponent is NRG, like that's the final boss, and this is just a side quest, it feels like.
Fluffy Dreamland do it.
That's true, NRG do look beatable, but this is where your weaknesses right now are being shown. Blastoff Buds at least showing flexibility with the different tank choices they've had, but Victory on the Widow has given them a huge edge off the rip. Recontest now for Fidel, not having a lot of space to work with, and he's leaving to deal with the Pharah, so someone has to take the mantle for EXN to stay on this point. It has to be Putter, but he may be on a dive as well. No, he's trying to protect Passenger. There's no space for EXN to recontest with, so Blastoff will be capping in a second.
Yeah, no, they're gonna have a decent amount of time here as Putter just trying to make this interesting. Oh, Ace is back as well, so potentially, oh no, there's nobody actually able to touch. They get quite fortunate there to blast off Buds that they had that much percentage on the point, because there were a few players coming back from Zenith. Could have made that really interesting.
Unleashed victory on the Widow, though. It's a bit more narrow here and a bit harder to get more creative sight lines. You see Victory going up the top left. May try to surprise some people recontesting coming out of spawn, but does get discovered, and he has to be distant away from Fidel, too.
Yeah, and it'll be Zenith making a change where the Ace over to the Echo here. In for sight for Victory. You have this ultimate, so you want to kind of continue to play the Widowmaker. The shots have been great as well. Just putting down some damage onto Fidel almost actually gets the armor off of the Diva.
Oh, but EXN not contesting the choke point. This is so much free time, free push. 4.5 minutes to get to the box of victory. Taking care of Redex, though, punishing on the orbital race cast is massive for EXN. They can maybe go back to holding the choke or even this library corner. A lot of options for EXN, but now perfection is demanded of them when they're down 0-2 in the series, and Blastoff only need one fight win to win it.
Yeah, I imagine Blast Off Buds make some changes here coming on up. Like, yeah, so you see Victory going over and playing Cassidy. So Cassidy's going to be really strong against the Echo and the Tracer. I wonder if they consider changing the tank. But it looks like Baz going to come back as Diva has a self-destruct as well. So see how they end up using that. I think what'll be huge is like if Passenger decides to use this Kitsune Rush, Zenith, if they get aggressive into it, there's going to be a rally on the other side.
Even just Fidel swapping to Orisa, who cares about self-destruct? Just sit, turn off your brain at the choke point, and just give some room for Ace to fly around on this Echo, for Putter to play on the back alleys. Playing this far back limits the routes that Putter can take, limits the amount of airspace Ace can use, so EXN, do or die on this comp, and here's Vise with the barrage. No targets in sight, free space for Blastoff. They are getting flanked by EXN, so Blastoff are gonna choose to take the front war, and Baz turns around to deal with the flankers from EXN. A lot of confusion from Blastoff Buds, and maybe a chaos moment. EXN thriving as a barrage pushes back EXN, and Vise is punished by this flanker of Passenger, who may be back there with Putter again. Blastoff Buds need less than 2 meters, and this won't be the fight they'll do it with.
No, just a chaos of a fight, right? Players on the front side of the cart, the back side as well. Baz going for ends up getting a kill there on Putter towards the end. So they'll actually have a Vice play May here. They do not, I mean, what, less than 2 meters here to take this. Is going to see some changes coming on in. I think you were probably playing that comp for Blast Off Buds for another fight just because you had some ultimates. They come on in here trying to put some pressure onto this Diva.
Yeah, Ramatra is just gonna out-brawl the Diva. So EXN cannot be scared of this. They gotta find their way around Baz and kill their supports before Baz can be re-involved. Pulse at the break speed. Frothy dodges. Orbital Ray from this defense. Blast Off Buds have to respect they got the time. And they feel a bit antsy. They feel desperate for a point that they have lots of time to cap with in EXN. Now multiple fights in a row.
Yeah, putting together a pretty good defense here is how EX Zenith. It feels like, though, maybe they gave up a little bit too much cart progress because Blast Off Buds seems like they can just play around one big fight, right? You're going to have an orbital array here plus a Deadeye. You can, like, almost use that orbital array to kind of escort that Cassie into position, get a big Deadeye, or at least just kind of force some positioning here. It'll be Passenger on a bit of an off angle here, trying to put down some damage. This is probably going to be the orbital array coming in.
You can't underestimate Passenger and his mechanics. He'll still be back there. It's full flank for EXN. But the frontline war is being won by Blastoff. The Ramatra gets to just throw left hooks and right hooks and hope to knock out this defense out cold for good. And so they have, with a last-ditch effort, a blizzard to cap things off. Blastoff Buds will sweep and move on.
Yes, they played for that one big fight there. At the end, they get that orbital array with the Deadeye, like I was talking about. They just march on up. They get a kill with that. Maywall comes down, and nothing they could do really on the other side for EX Zenith, where Blast Off Buds, they knew exactly what there was going to be played on the other side. They took advantage of it.
Yeah, I agree as well. I think I was very impressed on just how closely knit of a team. I think Blast Off Buds were. Like I think it was not only their individual, I guess, mechanical skills, but also like their ability to sort of move as like a one core unit. I think that was what really handed them the victory. 3-0 victory for Blast Off Buds. Clean stuff.
Yeah, we knew that Blast Off Buds were going to be able to skirmish. There's a lot of people on this team that like their independent duels, and they all found their moments to shine. And they played with Lava yesterday, and Baz really stepped up to the plate and was able to mirror and actually even win the mirror against Fidel's best hero.
Yeah, I mean, I think Blast Off Buds knew exactly what, EX Zenith were going to play on the other side of things. And look, they wanted to play the D.Va the entire time. They knew the different types of compositions that would work against playing that D.Va. And they executed those well, right? Now it's what can you do against a team like the Shock, right? I think that'll be the big test for Blast Off Buds.
Yeah, what do you guys think? I mean, do you guys think Blast Off Buds have a good chance of winning against Energy Shock? Because that is going to be the decided match.
Hey, Danny, define good chance. Like what are the odds
50%?
here? 40, 50? So you're saying, is it a toss-up? No, I don't think so. No. But I look, there's a world in which it happens, right? Now, would I say it's a 50-50 game? I don't think so. I think Blast Off Buds can definitely play it competitive from what we've seen here today. I would be quite shocked though if NRG. Yeah, I did. If NRG Shock come out like flat, and they obviously know that the main event's on the line, right?
Yeah. It's hard to argue against the evidence we already have. I mean, in the very first match, NRG swept them. The only map that looked close was King's Row. And, well, the Blast Off Buds showed us how they were able to sort of mirror the enemy composition and do it better, and then end up back on the Ramatra, really understanding the state of the game of needing a few more meters, go to the Ramatra. And Victory is subbed in, showed us how good his hit scan can be, and maybe they don't have as strong of a tracer as Potter. I felt like Potter still had a remarkable performance, and going up against NRG's star-studded lineup, Blast Off Buds would have to absolutely peak and learn a lot from their last time matching up against NRG.
Yeah, I mean, if it was a 3-0 the last time, nothing would, lead me to believe that enough has changed where it could be a total flip of the script, right? Maybe Blast Off Buds can rely a little bit more on, playing some more Rush and different types of style. Maybe they can work on the Orisa another week. But Vice, the player of the match here for Blast Off Buds, had a really strong performance in a lot of the different hits again.
Yeah, I think making just the Tracer battle was really important against Potter. That went really back and forth. He had some pretty pivotal pulse bomb kills, and ultimately it's not just as an individual of how Vice played off of the contact of the rest of his team. That's why New Queen Street just felt so one-sided, was the team play, and this guy was the spearhead.
I agree. I think, both of the DPS and of course Vice was definitely a treat to see for this matchup. Getting the win for their team, 3-0. I mean, they do have like a week to prepare against NRG. I guess Matt saying that, it is going to be difficult, sure, but I do believe they do still have a chance facing up against NRG.
There's always a chance. You know what they say? Danny's always bounce back, so maybe it's an opportunity.
No, it's Danny's always come back stronger.
Danny's always, I got it wrong. Sorry, Danny. But Danny's whatever you just said. That's usually what happens. So maybe they're a Danny in this situation. Maybe they come back and they look great.
Maybe not. We'll find out soon enough. I guess next week is going to be when we find out for that answer. For now, we're gonna head into the post-match interview. I almost said player of the match. We already know who's the player of the match. But for post-match interview, we got Redex from Blast Off Buds for a quick chat.
Yo, what's up?
Yo, what's up?
It's Redex, by the way. Just so you know.
Oh, sorry.
Redex.
You're good.
Redex, okay. I mean, hey, big win for you guys. Everything was on the line. You guys were on the verge of getting knocked out, but you guys did get the win. Was there anything you guys specifically sort of like practice, or like what was your game plan, I guess, sort of coming into today's match?
Our game plan going in was that we know they're gonna play Kiri on the off angle like every fight with their Tracer, and they're just gonna take crazy angles. We're just gonna run at them main and just kill their tank and just kill their Pharah and kill their Juno because they're not comfortable if they're not on Pharah. And there's basically they have to play that comp, and their Juno is just permanently pocketing the Pharah, so she can't see anyone else on her screen. So you just shoot her and she dies. Yeah.
Well, it seems like you had a game plan and it worked out. I mean, it resulted in a sweep for a reason. Talk to me about your tank situation or what you can share between Baz and Lava. I want to say Lava played yesterday. Baz really stepped up today. So what's up?
Yeah, so Baz is a guy who normally plays. On Friday, he was doing his thesis work. He's a geologist, and he was doing a thesis, and he couldn't show up for the match because he had to diagnose rainwater and find out how it was falling on the ground. So we have to play with Lava. We haven't played many officials with him. He's a good dude. We tried our hardest. We tried to be NRG, but hopefully next week the rain isn't falling. So.
Lava name makes so much sense now, actually.
Hopefully he's done with all that, because you guys are gonna play NRG Shock again next week. What did you guys take from that first? Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
What did you guys take from the first match?
The first match, we used it as a good VOD opportunity, and honestly try to just test ourselves and see what's happening. And you know, like it's gonna be a first match. Like we're not expecting to be NRG like straight off the bat, but being able to like go into the game and just feel it out, like feel out how good they are, like just see like, because at the end of the day, it's really just names on the screen, you know. Like anyone could really be anyone. There's been upsets all over in OWCS, so it's really just names on a screen. The players are there, but just because their name is big and scary doesn't mean that anybody can beat them, you know? Fluffy beat them yesterday. No one was expecting that.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah. I mean,
True.
Would you? I think you were gonna say something about today. I think Matt.
Yeah.
Victory sleeping
was. This guy doesn't sleep, so he took a nap at like 1:30, and we had to get an emergency sum. M had to come from his grandmother's house to hop on his PC at home for map 1. We're spam pinging this guy in Discord the whole time, and he just managed to wake up right in time for him to come in the next map and absolutely dominate, as he usually does.
Yeah, and you guys still won. 3-0 victory.
Yeah.
You guys are just that good.
Teaching the wrong things though. No sleep equals win. Okay, everyone write that down.
All right, yeah, that is it for the interview. Thank you so much, and I am looking forward to your match against Energy. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Make sure you guys go to the Red X Bike GoFundMe.